Do I have your permission to share this video in my online DAT course, Corrective Techniques for Movement Dysfunction?
Yes.
So my first assessment, I would just want to start out doing a plumb line to get a basic status of the patient's posture overall. So we're going to do a single leg stand. So this time I'm just going to have her pick up her right foot. So she's balancing on her left leg. And again, I'm going to look for any changes at the lateral view. When we're looking at lateral view, we can also assess for breathing as well. We can do that from the anterior view. And when I go posterior, I'm going to be assessing again from head to toe. When I'm doing the posterior assessment, also we'll be looking for signs of Trendelenburg stance. And then I'll have her switch and do the other leg. So she'll pick up her left leg. Again, just posterior view. Then we're going to go lateral view. And I'll go ahead and get an anterior view as well. And then I'll have her put her feet just outside of her shoulder width, very slightly. I have her place her arms overhead. And we're going to do a little bit more of a functional movement. And she's going to do an overhead squat. So she's going to go down, and then she's going to go down again and hold it this time so I can assess. So again, I'm looking for any excursion anteriorly off of that plumb line. I'm going to check from the lateral side, looking for any adaptations. Did she go more lordotic, more kyphotic? Did she move in her head? Has she got her C-spine flexed? And our posterior view as well, making sure that we haven't made any accommodations for the movement there. I'll have her come back up. And the last assessment I want to do is we're going to do the three-plane excursion. So she's going to go back to the wall, and she's going to stand approximately 8 centimeters away from the wall facing it. When I tell her to, she's going to do 3 motions. The first one is she's going to simply try to touch her forehead to the wall. So we're looking at the flexion of C-spine, seeing if she's accommodated anywhere else for that motion. Then she's going to lift her head back up. And then she's simply going to touch her left shoulder to the wall. So we have trunk rotation. And then back. And then she's going to touch her right shoulder to the wall. I'll progress around to see that side. So again, we're seeing if she accommodated anywhere throughout the motion to make that happen. So now, after we've done some functional assessment, we're going to go through some progressive series for working on our spinal stabilization. So first, I'm going to have my subject find her pelvic neutral. So she's going to bring her belly button to her spine. She's going to work on going in a posterior pelvic tilt, and then a posterior pelvic tilt, then anterior pelvic tilt, kind of swaying back and forth until she finds that happy medium. Once she has found that, I'm going to have her do 5 pelvic tilts, just nice and easy, just going back into that most posterior tilt. And when she gets down there, she's going to hold 5 seconds and do 5 reps. During this time, while she's doing this, I can also assess for her breathing, making sure that she's also not accommodating by tucking in her chin, digging her feet into the table, or gripping onto the table while she's doing this. Once she has finished this, we're going to go to a supine bridge, which she's already in position. Knees are going to be flexed at 90 degrees and hopefully even on the table. So I'm going to ask her to bring her right heel. There you go. And they can be about 1 inch apart, but I just want to make sure those heels were even. And so now what she's going to do is bring her hips up to the ceiling, hold for about 2 or 3 seconds, and lower back down while trying to maintain that neutral spine, that pelvic neutral position. She's going to do that's 2. She'll do 3 more reps. Again, the whole time we're looking for accommodations. Is she pushing her hands into the table, digging her heels into the table, doing excessive chin tucking, trying to achieve this motion? Now we can expand on this and progress it to where she comes up into the bridge position. She extends her left knee, so she's in a single leg bridge, and then back down. then she can repeat it on the right side. And she'll go through a series like this. And what we're looking for here, is she making any accommodations? Is she deviating from the normal posture? Is she perhaps tilting her hips to make it work? We're looking for the stability of the core and the spine as we're making this progression. After she's finished this series, we can progress her positioning and put her into a side plank position. So she's just going to demonstrate this on her right side. We would assess this bilaterally. She's got her elbow at 90, elbows underneath the shoulder. She's going to lift her hips up off the table and try to maintain that neutral spine position. So we can assess from anterior as well as a lateral view. We can come up and over our subject, and we can also observe from behind, from the posterior view. Okay. And again, here we're assessing for any accommodations or deviations that she may have made to maintain this positioning. And we can have her do reps as well as hold it. All right, we've progressed from a side plank or a side bridge into a prone plank. So elbows are at 90, elbows underneath the shoulder. Subject is going to come up, maintain that pelvic neutral position. Hopefully she's got her scapula stabilized. So we'll check up there to make sure she's holding nice and strong. Okay. We'll go from an inferior position as well, go back lateral on the other side. And we may also want to go from more of a superior position here to look for any movement with the C-spine. All right, so after we've accomplished our planks, we can go into a quadruped position. Again, hands underneath the shoulders, our hips level. She's just going to demonstrate some simple ways of incorporating this by doing opposite extremity lifts. So her right arm, left leg. Beautiful, and back down. Again, we're looking for any shifts in posture, any changes to accommodate. This could actually be applied to a functional movement as we think about maybe having to reach for something underneath the couch, that fell underneath the couch. We're stretching, trying to grab something. We can also kind of start checking on our fatigue and endurance by if she starts losing her posture and control with multiple reps. So in trying to incorporate a little bit more functional movement, one activity I'd like and one progression I'd like my subject to do is she's going to go into a quarter depth squat, and then she's going to come up into a calf raise and lift her arms overhead. So it's like she's going down to pick up a box maybe, and then she's going to come pick it up and put it over her head. So she's going to do a series here of 5 for us. Again, we're going to assess for any accommodations she may be making, any deviations, any muscular substitutions, making sure that she's maintaining that posture that we saw her demonstrate earlier. Okay, to challenge my subject a little bit more and to incorporate the ocular motor systems, maybe change the surface up a little bit when we talk about DST and changing the environment. She's going to repeat the squat into a calf raise, but we also have our tape roll moving in front of her, so she's going to keep her eyes on the tape roll the whole time without turning her head to do it. That's the goal. So just using her eyes to keep focus on that. And we could have it sway more, but we're just kind of working with the natural sway of it right now. She's lost her balance a little bit, but that's all good.